Try e4 here. 1787, a duelist. E4, e5, good old classical chess. The Philidor defense with d6, an exchange, giving up the center. Going for a fianchetto. Interesting. So there is going to be pressure on this diagonal. Let's defend here and bring the other knight around to this square. And we'll defend this pawn with the bishop and castle and get the rook here. Let's go ahead and castle. I can wait till he takes. I don't have to take there. Okay, now let's see if we can exchange off his dark squared bishop. This is a loose piece. I should watch out for it. Okay, he kicks it immediately. Maybe he can push here. That would be interesting. No, he just wants to bring the knight out to harass me. Looks like he's played the system before. So he's got a very practiced feel to it. So he's hitting this pawn. Do I care? Yeah, let's defend the pawn. So, yeah, maybe I should have... I mean, the option was to give up the pawn and put the queen here, so he couldn't play that. But looks like he got that in. Okay, yeah, so now when I line up the queen and the bishop, he's got the king defending here. There's a weakness here, a bit of a weakness there. So I put a knight here and take here. This pawn is not quite hanging. Okay, if I push this pawn to chase his knight away, he'll jump in here, hitting my bishop. Let's go here. So I want to play c4 and kick that knight. Oh, so he voluntarily retreats. Interesting. How do I get to some of these weaknesses over here? Well, c4 is a good move anyway, because I can put the bishop on c3. I think it's a good move. He can move this knight with tempo. And then I come over here and defend. Let's see. So that means he could take the knight. Well, I could defend this way. Discovered attack on the queen. He got a strong bishop here, but I did at least get my rook away from the diagonal. Okay, puts the queen there. He probably would be happy with the queen trade. I could take here and get a pawn, I suppose. No, there's a danger. He takes and I move the knight here. Then he can take this knight. It's no longer as securely protected as it was. And this knight comes here, it blocks my queen's view of it, and he can take with the bishop. So what does that mean? Means I should move this knight away. It's funny, he still hasn't developed. some pieces there. Okay, now I can take this and go after it. Maybe he will finally develop his bishop. And I can go after the bishop. Yeah, let's go ahead and take that. So the knight. I'd like to get the knight to this square. Let's see how we can do this. Maybe start by moving the rook here. Threatening his queen indirectly again. And then we're going to True, he's ready to take here. I could push here. He could put his queen here anyway. I take, bishop takes, and I have to push this pawn forward, and then he can take this pawn. Or I take here and he takes here, or he takes back, and then I push this pawn. Well, I don't want to give up pawn. Okay, didn't go for the trade. This knight is not hopping in here, but it is going in here. Going to double rooks here if I can. He's going to try and stop me, of course. Actually, just knight there might be good anyway, right? He can move with check. So I can't put my queen here, even though it's defended. This queen will take, and then I'll take back with the knight, and then he will take with the bishop. So maybe go here. Going to double my rooks here. And then move my king to where he can't check it. Yeah, he seems like he's played this system a lot, and he knows all the tricks. So just step here. Now the knight is not checking me when it moves. So I'll go here. The knight moves with check, and then I can put the knight here. Yeah, just in time again. I take, he takes. I was trying to prevent this armada of pawns here by, putting the knight here. And if I had gotten the knight there a move earlier, he wouldn't have time to push this pawn, and I would actually be able to take it. But now he gets to push it, you see. Well, it's still a good knight, so let's see if we can do something here. Yeah, how do I ever untangle my queen from this position? Sacrificing the exchange here might be good for him. Just gonna try and okay, let's get the queens off then. That will help ease my burden here. So pawn here, he takes. I take this pawn, he takes that pawn. Take back. He takes, I take, he takes, I take. And I busted up his structure in the center. Or he pushes and I take, and that just is a pawn sacrifice. But I can blockade these pawns on the light squares. It's important that he's got a dark squared bishop. Okay, so we're going for this kind of thing. Check here. Where's the king going? Or we just go here directly. Yeah, the weakening the center was critical. Now I can move the knight with check and take a rook. And I will. Well, maybe he's hoping to win on time towards the end there, but this is no good for him. I just got to move quickly now. Okay, yeah, he's tempting me to run out of time. Let's take the bishop. Good, now I can go after this pawn. Let's go for rescue. Rescue that knight if we can. That's in a position where it's not actually playing. So here. Yeah, he's making this hard on me. He's going to take it to the limit. And, oh, that's not so bad. Get this pawn. Okay. Whatever. Can make these moves quickly at least. 1, 2, I get a queen. It takes him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's no way. That's a move he can play, a game he can play. Okay, I won one. All right. Let's see if we can get a rapid game here. Oh, white again. I'll start with d4 this time. 1945. Ivan Geldex. Play a queen's gambit. Oh, he plays the Slav defense. I go here to stop the 1 hour gambit. Although no one ever plays it, so no one besides me, of course. Let's do the slow Slav. We'll go ahead and defend this pawn. He can take it and go for the Moran variation, but he chooses not to. Let's develop and get castled. He can take at any time and pull my bishop away, and then I'll have a pin here. So something to keep in mind. But I don't think it's a problem at the moment. I guess he can take the bishop, I mean take the knight, pull my bishop away in this direction, and then take this pawn. And then it'll be like a real gambit. I think I'll allow that though, because usually get play against those pawns. And I'll have a bishop on this diagonal already, similar to a Catalan. Let's kick that bishop. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and exchange that off so I don't have to keep worrying about that. Now, he got the bishop outside the pawn chain, so he didn't have to retake in this direction. Can I play e4? Pawn takes. No, I really can't. Really can't play that. And if I put my queen here, he can drop his bishop back. Okay, gonna develop my dark squared bishop out on this side then. In fact, I think I will trade off the dark squared bishop. This is my bad bishop and his good bishop. And I should remember this is a rapid game, so I can slow down here. I don't have to play this fast. What's his follow-up going to be after that? He's going to pin the knight, isn't he? Okay, so we'll do this step by step. I'll defend here. Lift the queen up and bring the rook over. And if he pins, I'll unpin. After bringing the rook over. If I bring the rook, this rook over, then I can't play bishop here, which is what I wanted to do. Yeah, he went for the pin. How did I know he was going to do that? So, but I can defend like this with two pieces. And I can drop my queen back or move it forward, maybe. Now, moving it forward, it runs into this. If I don't, I fell in for this one. Shoot. He takes, I take, he takes, I take. So I've got it covered. But if he puts the queen here, I might be in a bit of trouble. And if I put the knight here to try and chase this guy, he can take here because it interferes with the queen. So probably kick the bishop, retreat the knight, and then play this pawn up to. I need to break out of this horrible situation with the pin. So we'll start with that. I could put the knight here and just trade it off for the bishop. That might be useful. Maybe he will play a move. Well, what a horrible, horrible pin that is. Let's see if he can find a way to fully exploit it. I think, yeah, I can take the bishop next because you'll have to retake and then play here. And then when he takes here, I retake with the bishop and then the pin is gone. So start with taking the bishop, and we kick the knight. The knight just goes back. Okay. Now I can unpin unpin that knight. Okay, maybe I'll go here to unpin the knight because he is threatening a pawn or two. And if he drops the knight in here, I can take it first with the pawn and then with this knight. Okay, the pin is gone, so I'm okay. I'm happy. Don't worry, be happy, and eventually I'll get the move that I wanted to play. This move here, put the bishop there. Fortunately, this bishop and these knights are not really coordinating. They are on the round colored squares. Okay, he's not giving me time to breathe though. He's attacking this. Attacking this pawn. Well, he's following that rule very well about trying to keep the initiative, keep the pressure up. And I am struggling to untangle myself. Push, knight, knight, knight. Just wondering if there's a piece being trapped here. I mean, there's this double pawn push idea in this position, but his queen is on this pawn as well as this pawn. Okay, so he goes there. Let's do this. Do I have time? I could take here, but then his bishop gets back. Problem is, I go here. He takes the pawn, I take back, the queen takes. So it's like a pawn sacrifice. And if I take, the queen can take here with check. It's also a sacrifice. How annoying is that? So let's see, I go here. He takes the pawn. I take the bishop. He can take the knight, or he could take here. Then I have to, well, then I would take the rook. So probably pawn takes. No, I go here, he takes the pawn, I take his bishop, he takes back, and then I take here. I think it's just barely working. Yeah, the queen is looking at my king on that diagonal. Well, let's see how our calculations compare. If I block here with my queen, he's got this check. That would be embarrassing. So after the check, I'll probably run with my king here. or here. Okay, he goes for the trade. Ah, he trades first and then takes the pawn. He plays there. Okay, that's good. That's a nice fork. So I can save the rook, but not the knight. Yeah, that nasty pin did me in at the end. Well, I can bring my queen over and try and save both here. Let's not give up the ghost too soon. But at the very least, he gets this pawn over here. Or he gets this one, which is maybe even more important. He checks me, I'm stepping up here. And let's see, I can push this pawn to bring an extra defender to the knight. What I'd really like to do is get a rook on this file and try and recapture that pawn. Yeah, he doesn't have any loose pieces in his position. These guys are both protected by pawns. This one can be chased. Yeah. There is a pin once again. Let's bring an extra defender for the knight. I can bring this rook over here to defend the knight and defend my queen so the knight is not pinned anymore. But, you know, he could have doubled rooks there. Okay, just defending the queen this way then. I'm looking to unpin like this. Didn't want to open up a diagonal towards my king. Yeah, I'm still struggling. Knight here, maybe bishop here in some order. This would actually, maybe bishop here now. Leaves this less defended, but boy, he likes these pins. Okay, well, this is just threatening to take here. So if I go here with the knight, the queen moves, the queen can actually go here, threatening this pawn. Then I could lift up my queen, or put it over here, defending the pawn. And if he takes, the knight here would fork the queen and the rook. So that starts with knight here, queen here, my queen here, and he takes, and then I have, oh, I don't have a fork. I want to get to this square and I can't get there. It's not a fork. So knight here. He could also trade queens, but that probably is not the most dangerous thing he could do. Bishop here, he can take. And let's see, if I take with the knight, he can take back. Bishop here, rook there. I put my rook here, hitting his queen. He can take the knight. But not if the rook is there. Okay, so bishop here, rook takes, rook here, queen moves. Maybe the queen goes here, attacking this pawn. Then my knight is free, at least. But he puts the queen there. It attacks the knight and attacks this pawn. But the knight is defended. Okay, so bishop here, rook here. And what? Knight here prevents the queen from coming to this square. The queen goes here. Yeah, I'm getting lost in these variations. The bishop is under pressure. Queen could come here, hitting the bishop. And the bishop is pinned against by the rook. Okay, knight here first, I guess, is what I'm going to play. I have run out of ideas. The calculations are too much for me. I can't take the pawn because I'll take the queen. Yeah, sometimes I can't see a position until it's on the board. The knight's defending the rook. So yeah, he just cashes in. He is a pawn up. I'll put my rook in front of this pawn. Well, I'll start with pinning that pawn. If he doesn't move it. Yep, so he moves it immediately. Let's go here. It's a check. And get my rook in front of that pawn. You'll have to defend it with a rook. And I could put my knight here and then attack it this way, this way. Maybe I can round it up sometimes. So he can't defend with either knight, because I can take the knight with the bishop. So he has to defend with the rook if he wants to keep that pawn. And I can put my knight here. Boy, I had another hallucination. I was thinking of putting my knight there. So I can put the knight here. Put the knight here. Fork. That's with the check. So he defends there. Okay, so let's take this pawn. And just like that, we're even. That was a tough struggle, just to get to this point. Do I have any better endgame chances? Maybe a little, but the bishop is a better piece when there's pawns on both sides of the board, and these pawns are doubled, which may slow them down. Yeah, he saw this was a good move and he prevented it. Well, I could go after this pawn then. So I can't go here, he takes, but I can go here. There is a funny line here, so there's a fork, so I can go here attacking the pawn. He can attack my pawn. Yeah, if only I could move this with tempo. I could take here with check. Knight takes. It's not working. Okay, but if I defend here with the bishop, I get a passed pawn. So he doesn't buy that. Put my bishop here. He takes. I'll have a passed pawn over here. That could be very dangerous. Yeah, I just want to be able to move this knight with tempo. Ah, now I can. I can take here at least. No, I can't. He's got that defended. That was the knight that was defending there. Let's see. Well, the bishop is free to move. But he's got... let's go here. Backs up to defend. Let's step forward. See if we can, step by step. This pawn is still pinned here, so I can put my knight here and attack it again. Aha, so I go here or here. He will push. How about if I step forward like so? Then if he pushes, I can push forward. If he pushes this pawn, I can just take it now. And how do I get pressure on this guy? I could go here to here. Need to get my king around, don't I? I'm going to walk into a pin, I mean a fork pretty soon. Can go here or here, I suppose. Yep. Yeah, he worked my bishop back to a passive position, or I allowed it anyway, which is unfortunate. Okay, there's no fork here because this is at 3 spaces away. Step up here, just gradually trying to get my king into the game. His king is trapped over here. Making haste slowly in the endgame. This is the next move. Aha, I think he spotted the idea and he's trying to get his king in the game too. Notice how the bishop is defending on both sides. So I can take here. If he takes, I'll take this knight. If he moves this knight with check, though, I take, he moves this knight with check. Oh, I can take it wherever he goes. Or if he moves with check, I can take it. Tactics in the endgame. Yep, he got a pawn. Now, I go here, he takes, I step forward. I think I need to defend this first. I can round this pawn up. Ah! Oh, what a mouse slip. What a horrible mouse slip. Of course I meant to take that. So on the analysis board, yeah, I meant to play here. And then I'm winning. I am winning. He can try and go after this pawn. Well, I even have my bishop. Yeah, what does it say? Oh, it says I'm not winning by much. So if we look at this, it thinks I should take there. Thinks this is a bit dubious. Well, that loses, of course. Of course I should take. But it says I'm only ahead by 1 point. So if we go back here, it says I should take here. I thought this was bad. Bishop takes g4 was best. Then bishop back to d1. The knight blockades. Then king c5. I was just worried that this would be faster. Not fast enough. Oh boy, what a game. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I will see you next time. Bye now.